What's up? I'm AJ Ramos. I'm here with Tyler Wade.
What's going on, bro? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being a part of this, man. So in spring training, you know, it's always hard to kind of get that nice level that you want sometimes, especially when you're going with a new team.
Yeah.
So what is it like coming from, because you've been, what, 3 teams now?
Yeah, I'm a third team.
Third team. So what is it like coming into this space, and how's the team accepted you?
Yeah, first of all, they accepted me really great. Great group of dudes, good camaraderie. Everyone wants to win, so it's been a very easy transition for me. And I've been around for a little bit longer now, so I kind of been playing against guys for a while, so like the transition's been a little bit smoother. But man, this clubhouse is great. It's going to be a good year for us for sure.
Yeah. How do you get ready for the spring? Are you a guy that like is an intense workout person and then like ties it down towards the beginning of the spring and like alters it all, or how does your process?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I think my off season's super important, right? So that's for me to get my strength up, my speed up, and then once I get into camp, it's more about getting into baseball game shape. And obviously I'm touching up on my workouts here and there still, but it's just all about, I mean, you know, man, like it's about trusting the process that you put it in the off season. So for me, it's about taking every single day and making sure my focus is where it needs to be on the goal for the day, right? So just trusting the process and making sure each day gets better and better.
That leads me into my next question. So what do you define as a successful day in spring training? Because obviously when you're playing in the season, it's like, oh, I got to get that knock in, or I got to get, and in spring, sometimes you square some balls up, and I've seen some guys being like, that wasn't it. Or I've seen some guys take, get a broken bat hit, but like, oh, my timing is right. So what do you define as like a successful day in the spring?
It's a really good question, man. I think for me, so like as a hitter, right? Like I think the first couple weeks, like it's swinging at good pitches, locking into my plan. It's like having that focus level, right? So being able to go about like my 4 at-bats or 3 at-bats that day is like, hey, like this was my checklist. Did I swing at the pitches I wanted to swing at? Did I stay in my approach? Regardless of the result, make sure you're locked in your approach and you're not swinging at his pitches, right? Control the at-bat. So that's a check. And then like barrels, right? Like you want to touch barrels. So that for me is a successful day, regardless if it's 2 for 2 or 0 for 4, you know? That 0 for 4 could be more successful than the 2 for 2, you know? So that for me is just understanding what makes you feel good and what's gonna get you ready for 162.
Is there a way that you try to implement the rhythm of it off the field?
So like I said, I'll use Castillo as an example. So yesterday I'm starting, we know we're facing Castillo. So like my whole day is prepared around what Luis Castillo's got. So like my BP is gonna be a certain way just to get me ready for that game, right? So that for me is just how I prepare for spring training games and regular season games.
Right. So like with that, so there's a sort of a pressure on you as well, because the guys that are, you got Bogarts at second, you got all these guys, up there. So like, do you feel an extra pressure to try to be better, so that to make sure that whenever something happens, whatever, you're the first guy called?
Nah,
man.
man.
Feel a different pressure on that, or how do you go about that?
Not at all, because I feel like being Tyler Wade is just good enough, right? I know our infield's our infield, right? But I know my role in this game and on this team, and if I embrace who I am and Tyler Wade as a player, that's going to shine, and that's what you're going to see. There's no needed pressure to put on yourself.
I think a lot of people out there can learn from that, because including myself, the times that I did bad was because I was trying to do too much. I was trying to be more than AJ Ramos, right? And I think a lot of people get caught in that cycle of trying to do too much instead of just allowing the game or life to come to them, because when you start to put pressure on yourself, things start to get zeroed in, right?
And things sped up a little bit, right?
And anything in that zone that you're focused on, if it's not successful, then it's just all thrown off, you know what I mean? So that's something that I love, that perspective. Is I wish I would have had.
Well, it's something that I'm learning still to this day, right? Really learned it in New York. That's where I was like, wow, there's a lot of pressure here, right? Like you played in New York, there's a lot of pressure. And I just kind of grew. I was like, okay, like I don't need to be Didi. I don't need to be Aaron Judge. I don't need to be Fernando Tatis. Like I'm here for a reason. This is the reason I'm on the team. I need to be me and focus on being me.
Right. That's amazing. That's all I got, man. I appreciate it.
I love it. Dude, anytime, my boy.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.